Welcome. There we go. Hey, everybody, welcome back. What are you doing?
Nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask. It's me, Mr. Coleman. Oops.
And I'm Mr. Blackford, and only about like 6 people just got your reference.
You know who I do it for? I do it for those 6 people.
You care.
I care.
And I think that's very admirable of you for caring. I care. There we go. All right. So what do we?
We're on week 4, guys. Week 4.
Starting week 4 next week.
Starting week 4 next week.
Or
our 3rd weekly update.
Third weekly. Your second, my third.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and, it's going by quick.
It is going by way too quick. Parents should probably be on the watch out for later this next week about conference information. I'm sure that's going to be coming out soon.
Yes. You're probably asking yourself, why aren't you guys in the green screen room? Well, we might try that later on, but we would have to wear our masks, and we don't know what the mask would sound like on camera. So
eventually we will be.
Yes. That's the
white is cluttered behind me.
Yeah, it's like a vomit for my eyes.
I know. I get that. All right, so we're gonna go over what's going on coming up this week and stuff. I'll start with history just because I'm gonna click on my screen over here. So here we go. Next week we're really gonna dive into. We're gonna start the causes of the American Revolution. We're gonna look at the French and Indian War, and we're gonna look at all the taxes and try to figure out and have kids figure out why America decided to break up with England. Okay, what happened in those 10 years to really push us over the edge? A reminder for all kids that their projects from Unit 1, their assessments from Unit 1, which is the Twitter project, where they're tweeting the colonies. Okay, what it was like to be in the colonies. That'll be due next Friday. It's posted on Canvas, and your scoring guide is attached. So that's all I got to say about that. So that's history.
That is history. All right, so I'm going to jump into science, and I'm going to look over on my screen over here. As a reminder, you will need to turn on the camera upon re-entering the classroom if you lose connection, and that's security. Like, I want to make sure you are who you are. You also will need to have your camera on for attendance purposes at the beginning of the hour, and then you're free to turn it off. And I do that because I don't get to see you guys on a daily basis. So I want to make sure I can recognize you if we were to ever meet again in public. I will also be, and that won't be recorded. Your faces won't be recorded. I will also be putting up a daily Google form to check for understanding. They are meant to only take you about 5 minutes, 5 to 7. These checks will be in Infinite Campus as ungraded portion of your grade. I think, Mr. Blackford, you're doing about the same thing.
Absolutely.
And it will be doubling as a participation check that you can only have if you were in the class. So if you're absent that moment and you don't have access to the chat, then it doesn't count against you. It's just for me to basically gauge how much you're understanding, because there's not a whole lot of interaction in the online format. And so it's a neat way for me to see pretty quickly where you are. Now, starting next week, on Monday, we're going to be looking at how does vertical forces affect vertical motion? What are the forces in vertical direction? And then we're going to look at what is normal force. And then following that, we are going to get into projectile motion, which is pretty fun. And then on Thursday,
is that anything projectile vomiting?
The further away it falls. Well, that doesn't make sense, but that's the second vomit reference today. You don't get that anywhere, just the 8 green team. On Thursday, we will have a second quiz, and this quiz will be over cycles 2 and 3. And then we're going to start looking at Newton's second law of motion, and that's the relationship between mass and force. So that's how we close out the week. This current week, we went into acceleration and started Newton's first law. And that's all I got to say about science.
Projectile vomiting. It's gonna be big. All right, let's go language arts. Language arts. 3 for, I'll start with Miss Conklin. Mrs. Conklin, teacher of the year. What? Okay. This week, this week, students wrapped up their review of character traits and moved on to reviewing setting and how setting affects the character. Oh, there's Mr. Coleman's teacher of the year thing. Next week, students will wrap up their review of setting and move on to theme. Students should be reading outside of class for 30 minutes a day and working on their reading response notebooks. Students should also be recording the pages on their PRT reading tracker because those are due on Friday. And that's it for Mrs. Conklin.
Mr. Blackford, do you have one that you would like to share? You don't have to go that far. Look at that. Boom. Very nice.
These kids were barely born.
I was actually in high school. No, I just started.
Oh, shut it. Shut it.
All right, so we're going to go with Mr. DeCarly. That's Mrs. Conklin. So CCLA. This week, students continued reading their dystopian novel, analyzing archetypes and systematic problems within their novels. Next week, students will continue reading and analyzing their dystopian novels. Students have their response to letter essay 1 due Friday at 9 a.m. Their practice email assignment is due Monday at 9 a.m. As always, students should read at least 30 minutes a day outside of class every day for the rest of your life. And challenge, this week students wrapped up their review of character traits and moving into reviewing setting. Next week, students will wrap up their review of setting and move on to theme. Students have their response to letter essay 1 due Friday at 9 a.m. And again, read all the time.
Miss Rapp.
Rip-a-rap.
Miss Rapp. Rippy, rap. Okay, language arts. Students wrapped up the review of character traits and moving on to reviewing setting. And they're going to move on to theme next week. Students should be reading outside of class for how many minutes a day, Mr. Coleman?
It's 30.
30 minutes a day for the rest of their life and working in their reading response notebook. They will turn in their best notebook on Monday. That's all Miss Rapp's got for us today. So at the camera.
Ooh. Ow. That hurt.
Sorry, I got you.
All right. Now we're with Mrs. Brooks for your weekly test and quiz update. But
Quiz update.
we're all doing quizzes and tests like almost all the time now with our rapid pace. So, week of September 14th, Math 8. Students started Unit 2, Transformations on Friday. On today, September 11th, after testing on Unit 1, Equations and Inequalities, students started to look by looking at translations of graphed points, segments, and shapes. Students will continue learning about reflections and rotations. The Unit 2 quiz is tentatively scheduled for Thursday, September 17th. Students will then learn about dilations, congruent and similar figures before finishing up Unit 2. The Unit 2 test is scheduled for Wednesday, September 23rd. Students are encouraged to take advantage of morning help sessions Tuesday through Friday, 8:15 to 9. That goes for all of us too, all of us. Myself, Mr. Blackford, Mr. Carley, Mrs. Rapp, Mrs. Conklin. We all have office hours in the morning.
Yes, we do.
And we also have it every day, Monday through Friday, 2 to 2:30. So come on in if you're having any difficulties. Algebra 2, or sorry, algebra.
Algebra, not two. Just regular algebra.
Students started unit on linear regression on Friday. That's sad. The lines regressed. September 11th, after testing on topic 2, sequences, students started with a review of slope-intercept form. And then if you were in science class, we talked about slope-intercept with graphs as well. So we're going to look at point slope form and standard form of linear equations before working in the new unit. Students will apply knowledge of sequences to linear equations and then analyze linear regressions to the new unit. To model data. The topic 3, linear regressions test is tentatively scheduled for Thursday, September 17th. Students are encouraged to take advantage of morning help sessions. So same, all right? And that is Mrs. Brooke.
Ow! Got my hair. It's my hair. All right. I don't know of anything else, Mr. Coleman. There's like nothing going on this weekend, or
Football started.
football starts. Yeah, this will be the first week for the NFL.
So we'll see how well that goes.
Yeah, the No Fun League. All right. I got nothing else for you, Mr. Coleman. Everybody have a good weekend. We will see you all on Monday.
Bye.
Bye.